Hey YouTube, it's been a while. So I broke my tripod. Not surprised I did. Um, so I'm improvising, but I'm going to be crocheting as I talk, because I just want to get this blanket done. um But a few things that I want to talk about are in the title. Um, my goal in this video is to kind of catch up on things. And I'll show y'all my blanket when I get to a certain point. But I am pretty much at the point of my journey where I am coming out of isolation and figuring out how to apply all the things that I've learned. One of the things that I learned on this journey, that specifically pertains to centering self, is when I said months ago that this centering self journey was like putting a microscope to myself. At the time, I thought that it was about evaluating myself so that I could fix myself. What I learned on my journey was it was more so that I could just observe and learn more about myself. And that has honestly changed so much within my journey, because to observe and just learn about myself was not to place any judgment on myself at all. And that was difficult at first because it's kind of programmed for me to see something and label it as good or bad, negative or positive, etc. But when I really started getting the hang of it, because I don't think I'm there yet to where every single thing I learn about myself, I don't place a label on it. But when I started getting the hang of it, like, my ability to manifest changed, because what I've learned on the spiritual side of this journey is that there is a trilogy of energy rather than a polarity of energy, which is one extreme, the other extreme, and then the middle, the neutral, which is where I manifest the best. And I think the reason I manifest the best in that neutral area is because I'm not putting positive or negative energy into an outcome. I'm just allowing the energy to flow. Like, I'm not giving the energy a direction. I'm just allowing the energy to flow. And then when I get the outcome, regardless of how I got the outcome, I can decide if it's the outcome I truly prefer. So that has been fun and stressful for someone like me. But I also discovered that okay, I'm back. So I believe what I was saying is I also found out that I have AuDHD. And I talked about discovering autistic traits in my last video, but what I didn't actually discuss is before that I had already suspected that I have ADHD. I just didn't resonate with it enough to claim it, basically. And then when I learned about autism, I came across AuDHD, and that resonated the most. So, like I said in my last video, I got a lot of relief from that. I really honestly dropped a lot of weight off my shoulder once I allowed myself to open up to the idea of it, because earlier this year I kind of tried to probe my mom about, like, if she noticed any behavior that might suggest I had autism. She wasn't really too fond of that conversation. So I kind of let it go until recently. I was actually looking into early signs of autism in kids, just as a precautionary measure. I really don't think it would be that big a deal if I missed anything at this time, because she's under 3. But I also feel like knowing as early as possible would prepare me to know how I can best help her if she got to the age that they usually diagnose kids and it turned out she had autism. So I was looking into early signs and went down a rabbit hole and started to realize that a lot of the signs of autism in kids that they have now, like the research they have now, explained some things that I experienced as a kid, as well as some things I experienced as an adult. However, it hasn't changed the way I look at myself. It has just changed how I approach things. Well, in a way, it does change how I look at myself, because now I can give myself the grace that I think I've needed this entire time. But like, it's not this like major event for me. I did have to take some time to process it, but during that processing time, I was really just looking at, if I was going to be able to use the resources that are available to achieve my goals. And for a minute there, I lost hope. I felt like, okay, if this is the way my brain works in a world that works like this, I'm going to forever be behind. I'm not going to be able to pull certain things off. But I got over that quickly, because honestly, I don't know what's going to happen, which has also been a beautiful part of this journey, is me no longer declaring an outcome, because I just don't know the outcome. And honestly, anytime I've declared an outcome, it's never actually turned out that way. I've just always found a way to make it seem as if it turned out that way. I lived in a lot of negativity before this journey. So with the centering self and my AuDHD, which I am going to get a formal evaluation sometime next year, but I'm also just going to go with the resonance of it, and use the tools that are available and see how they help me on my journey. And that's pretty much an update on me as far as my journey goes. I am preparing to like organize my content creation better. My different platforms will be for different things. I'm also getting back into crochet to sell, because that's honestly an area of strength for me that I feel I can produce results in both offering education on crochet as well as products. So I'm gonna follow that idea as far as it takes me and just see what really happens. I know that on TikTok I have been talking about how the world is shifting and how amongst Black people I'm starting to see more and more how the programming of our people actually worked. So I will be getting into those things, and on this channel it'll just kind of be my information channel where I have kind of long structure videos breaking down different things and talking in depth about different philosophies I've come up with, different perspectives I've gained of things that I think can help other people on their journeys. And then on my TikTok, where I have been talking about those things, I'm going to make that more about me. I'm going to make that more about showing my journey instead of the informational stuff. So if you prefer like that personal, relatable type content, my TikTok is definitely going to be the place for that. I am also going to create another set of platforms strictly for my creative work, because aside from crochet, I am also into making tarot cards and astrology, like infographics and stuff. And I'm into writing fiction. And I'm just going to share all of that on those platforms as well as other areas. I can't really tell y'all the full scope of my plans because it's just rough. I do know that with me coming out of isolation, it's going to be an adjustment for me. It is definitely going to be an adjustment for me because I've technically been in isolation since 2019, I would say I have been in isolation officially for about 2 years though. But 2019 is about when I started basically. So that's what, 6 years. And I'll talk more about like my journey, because I think my story, looking at it from an outsider's point of view, is actually more interesting than I perceive it from an insider's point of view. um, the reactions I get from some people when I share certain aspects of myself actually shock me. But that also could be kind of similar, or like an aspect of my AuDHD, because up until I figured that out, I didn't understand why people didn't think like me. I didn't understand why the world didn't think like me. I felt like I really was like this advanced thinking person because of how thorough I how thoroughly I process everything. But the reality of that has been, I just dissect things in a different order than a lot of people. Like I just pretty much finished with school, and I realized that with education specifically, I learned the concepts backwards. Once I have the answer, I unpack the answer back to point A, like where it starts. Whereas a lot of people are given a starting point, and they have to work their way to the end. I start at the end and work my way back. That's how I learn. And that's also how I process the world, honestly. So I don't know, maybe my story is going to be just interesting to me. I'm going to share it anyway, because why not? It won't hurt anything. So I mean, that's how I feel. It won't hurt anything. 5. Okay. So I thought I had more to say for this video, but I think the reality is, just to sum everything up, the reality is that I didn't get to this point by mistake. Like, starting in about 2019, I said a prayer to give myself permission to love myself. Shortly after that, I started creating yearly themes. And I still don't remember the first theme that I created, but I do remember the themes from then on. And all of the years fit the theme that I had chosen for that year. Like, the second year I had a theme, the theme was humility, and I was most definitely humble. And then the year after that, I believe, was less judgment, and I learned that judgment is actually unnecessary, because the only time we feel the need to judge something is when we cannot control it. So then the next year was what was the next year? I actually forgot that one too. I know this year was supposed to be discipline. And I definitely learned a lot about discipline. But I also, within the discipline umbrella, learned about working with myself the way I am. So like how I would summarize this year is that discipline is not just about doing what you know is necessary to do to achieve your goals. It is about listening to yourself and following your inner guidance with trust and without expectation. So, yes, discipline is also about doing what you know you need to do, but deeper than that, it is about following yourself, trusting yourself, loving yourself, and giving yourself the compassion and understanding of where you are, the realistic understanding of where you are in that moment. Because for me, there was this element of trying to force it, and it wasn't working. And before I found out I had AuDHD, I had come to the realization that even when my brain gets to the point of commitment, my nervous system has to adjust because it has to feel safe first. And AuDHD aside, I've endured a lot of things that have programmed my nervous system to believe certain things are unsafe, to believe that if I do X, Y is going to happen, and that Y is unfavorable. So next year, my theme, I believe I chose the theme, it was existence, but I changed it, and now I don't remember what I changed it to, so I probably end up changing it again. But basically, what I want to ultimately achieve next year is just being. So existence would be valid for that. I just think the word existence, the way it works in my brain, still puts me in the mode of kind of performing. So I believe I chose something different for my brain's sake. But regardless of what word I choose, the ultimate goal is to just exist, just to be, allow myself to be, with the understanding that I have all the time in space to achieve all of these things I want to achieve. I have as many lifetimes as I want to experience. While I'm in this lifetime, I still have as much time as I want to take on a soul level. So the biggest thing next year is going to be relaxing into my existence and loving myself in every version of myself. And once I solidify the theme, I will make a video about it, just more so kind of mapping out my goals, because even though it's about existence, I am still a person who likes plans and organization. So I at least want to like give myself an idea of the things that I'm trying to achieve with my existence. I just won't allow myself to be heavily attached to that plan or the any outcomes that I would like to have. And then I'm going to make a video probably in a few days, because for December I'm doing a few health related and somewhat beauty related things, just to get myself prepared for the new year. I'll also make another video, not another video, but I'll also make a video about my solar year experiment. I'm going to still be working with the Gregorian calendar, but I'm also going to be working with the astrological calendar in the sense of zodiac signs. So like Aries season is going to be my first month, Taurus season my second month, so on and so forth. And that is going to be mostly about learning how to work with the energy of those signs within the season. And it's strictly based on the most common Western astrological knowledge about those zodiac signs, because that's what I'm most familiar with right now. Maybe in the future it'll shift and I'll get more into the way that things don't actually align in the sky with Western astrology. I might get into sidereal, Vedic astrology. I might not. I don't know. But I do have a lot of different things content wise coming, as well as my Etsy shop getting up and rolling in March. Well, March is the goal. And possibly a crochet course for people who want to learn crochet. So now that I'm coming out of isolation, I am very much on my Aries action based I'm in my Aries action based momentum, just from the lens of having more knowledge and wisdom to work with, as well as understanding that astrology is just a reflection. So I'm not actually going to be putting too much emphasis on the astrology itself, just more so how I decide to use the information. And that's where I will end this video, you guys. Before the year ends, I will go back through all of my videos and link all of my social media. The only social media I won't be making available to the public is my Facebook. I keep that private, not literally private, but I keep that for my friends, family, and Monopoly Go. That's what I use Facebook for, and I think I want to continue to do it that way. I may create a new Instagram. I've been off Instagram for years. I may create a new Instagram just to showcase my crochet and stuff. But don't count on that. If I do, I may also create an Instagram to document still like moments of my life, because outside of my creativity, I am opening up a lot of my personality to the world again. So my TikTok is about to get interesting. um, but until then, you guys, make sure to like the video, comment, share, subscribe if you haven't. I want to thank my new subscriber. I saw you and I thank you for subscribing. I appreciate all 4 of you. Believe it or not, I don't have a subscriber goal. I don't really plan for YouTube to be a source of income. If it comes to that on this particular channel, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But this is where I share my deepest thoughts. Basically, this is going to be where I share my deepest thoughts, and my perspective on different things that I encounter throughout my life. So definitely let me know if there's something specific you want me to talk about, because I probably have a perspective on everything that we talk about on the internet. And I definitely don't mind sharing what I think. Just remember that nothing I say should ever be taken at face value. Any information you receive should always be researched before you come to a conclusion for yourself. But most importantly, always come to a conclusion for yourself. Your unique perspective is just as important as the next person. That's how we build cohesiveness within community. So love y'all. Be good to one another, but most importantly, be good to yourselves. And I will see y'all in the next video.